Hey y'all, how you perking? I hope you're perking good. So, here is time to do our part two of this series that's apparently going to be a series now on conspiracies. And we're looking into what's real, what's not, what's fake, what's myth, what's whatever. Hey, we're looking into all the things. We want to get to the bottom of it. We got to know. So that's what we're going to do here today. And we're using all of the requests that y'all have sent in. So I know it's been a while since y'all sent in requests. We did one video. Now we're on to part two. Still using those requests that y'all sent. So trying to get through as many of them in these videos as we can. So we're going to take a look into that today. I am a licensed mental health clinician as well as a spiritual intuitive, and in these videos we take a look at the tea with the tarot. So that's what we're going to do, and that's me and my cue to pull up the cards over here and move this microphone right here. Penelope is in yellow because I'm wearing brown and I don't have brown eyes for her. Yellow's the closest that I've got, so that's what it's gonna be. And I am aware that I've done ponytails in the last I don't know how many videos out of laziness. The only reason why I wasn't lazy in the past doing ponytails is because my hair wasn't long enough to put in a ponytail, and now it is just barely long enough to get up in there. Even if all this shit is falling out of it, y'all can't see that. I don't care. This is how it's gonna happen. So, lazy. Plus, this is protective because I have trichotillomania, like I've told many of you in the past. I think I've said it on this channel before, probably several times. I've had trichotillomania since I was 8 months old, which is an exceptionally early time for it to present. And so it's good that I'm able to put it up into a ponytail, because for at least as long as it's in a ponytail, I am less likely to be pulling any out. In the past year, since my daddy died, and then recently my uncle died, and I now have 3 jobs, and there's just a lot of stress going around right now. I'm sure y'all are feeling the stress too. And so my hair has been the target for a lot of my stress lately, and it has gotten really damaged and thin again. And so I'm getting into the territory where I might have to start wearing wigs again. I've had to do that several times throughout my life, where I've either had to wear wigs or I've just shaved it off completely and I just, went bald. I did that to coincide with a fundraiser for kids cancer, though, so that when I did shave, at least I could raise money for kids cancer. And so I did do that with St. Baldrick's and raised $1,000. So that was good. But anywho, wow, what a tangent. Conspiracy Vigio part 2. We're gonna dive right on into this. You know how I usually use my handy dandy sticky notes that everybody has so graciously sent to my P.O. box? Well, today, apparently I had this idea sitting at the kitchen table, and so here's some junk mail, and I was writing and scribbling on the back of this junk mail. So all our questions are written here. We are sufficiently shuffled. This is all alleged, just my interpretation as usual here. Not claiming anything here is real, wink wink. It's just alleged and my interpretation, okay? So the questions that we were asked, I tried to gather similar types of questions. So we're going to be looking into questions about, are we living in a simulation? Are reptilians real, and are our leaders those things? Same with like aliens among us. Are there aliens among us, and does the government know about that? And if we have time, there were several people who asked about whether or not the moon landing was fake or real. So I may have to change my language as we're going along to not use certain words that could, get this video booted off the damn internet. But hopefully it's fairly simple here and straightforward, and hopefully we're not going to run into any trouble. So let's start with the first question here. Are we living in a simulation? And Huang Vu, you're the one that sent us this one, so shout out to you for sending us this question. So, are we living in a simulation? That is a very interesting one. Let's see what we can find out about that. And thank y'all for your patience on the last video about the sound ending up going through the camera. I still have no idea why that happened and why my Penelope was not working. Bitch. Don't know why, but I tested it over and over and over, got it fixed, so it should be working clearly now. So, anywho, this is incredibly interesting. I want a context card here on the death card because... Alright, so are we living in a simulation? This would be a very interesting answer to me because there's nothing here that necessarily is like, no, that we're not. What they're showing instead is, how do I explain this? I'm an intuitive reader, as y'all know. I know the meanings of the cards, but I go off of my intuitive impressions on the cards and select the variations of meanings. And sometimes I get images in my head that can tell me where these things are going. Where the image in my head is taking me on this Four of Swords. This is kind of a relaxation card, a endless sleep type card with this person that is perched up on top of this coffin here. And so this is kind of giving me the picture of like in the Matrix where there's people in the real world that lay down and get plugged up and enter the Matrix simulation, but their bodies are in the real world or whatever, laying still. Like there's a vibe like that going on, but I'm not seeing that like literally that's the thing. I'm not seeing it be that because we're getting over here with the High Priestess card. This is a very spiritual card. This is a very mysterious energy. As you see here, she's stuck between two pillars of white and black, light and dark, that interplay of opposites, because in the universe we have light versus dark, good versus evil, all the things, and that's what we're seeing here. Oh, I hear Julio just got home and I ordered a Christmas tree online because I haven't had a Christmas tree in years and years and years because of a traumatic thing. So I just don't have a Christmas tree. And so now this year I'm like, I'm ready to have a Christmas tree. And he's having to bring the Christmas tree in. Did you just bring in the Christmas tree? Did you just come home and bring in the Christmas tree? He goes, yes. He's a UPS delivery man, and here he has to come home and see a Christmas tree on our porch and bring it inside. It's like, here I am. I think I'm home. I think I'm off work, and I've got to deliver one more item or whatever. You want to wave and say hello? Just real fast? We'll see. We'll see. Okay. He's coming.
Yeah, I got the Christmas tree.
Is this a video, not a live stream? But
okay, just to show you good luck.
Just to show me good luck? They can't hear you. They won't be able to hear you.
Okay, it's just for you. We got 3 sevens on our Christmas tree.
For good luck. God damn it. Everything's backwards. You're not going to be able to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will.
Probably there. Yeah, we got 7.
We've got 3 sevens. He said, for good luck, we've got 3 sevens over here. You can't see this. I can't hold it. The cameras go backwards and I can't do anything. Okay. So, yay. We got 3 sevens for good luck. Nice. Nice. So, 7. So, anywho... That was an interesting interruption. Pardon the interruption. So yeah, High Priestess, spiritual, torn between the two opposites, right there in the middle of the balance. And so when we're getting a very spiritual card next to this, then it's like link up the matrix, the AKA real world versus the simulation, within a spiritual context. And so that kind of does go towards, a very mainstream type of spiritual line of thought that, our souls are eternal and eternally resting in a spiritual sense. And then we go into this world to, experience life on this planet in this way, which some people consider in some way a simulation. And that is kind of what it's looking like here. The Empress is the mother of all the tarot. This is a fertility card. This is like birthing us into this way of being. And then the Justice card here, very similar in energy here to this High Priestess, but this is that hanging in the balance, all thing balance. And Justice card, if we're talking about it in this context, is a karmic card. So you know how we always talk about karma, you know, you kill somebody in a past life, maybe they'll come around and kill you in a future life or something like that. I shouldn't be saying these words on here. Excuse me. But things like that, having that kind of a tit for tat, quid pro quo, I don't know what the hell you want to call it, cause and effect, let's call it that, type of karmic cycles. This Justice card of like, we're always evening out the balance. We're always finding a way to even out the balance. And so this does kind of trend towards reincarnation, trend towards, spiritual beings that go on and on and on and coming to Earth as a simulation. Then we pass away because, hello, death card here. King of Pentacles on that and the Ten of Wands next to it. This is very much like, okay, and when we do, now we've got all the abundance that we felt like we didn't have when we were here because we were carrying these big loads while we were here. It's like we're coming here to carry big loads. We're coming here to do the work, put in the work, spiritually speaking. And that's why I think maybe a lot of spiritual figures kind of talk about life as like going to a school to learn, patience and love and whatever the hell else, It does seem like that kind of line of thought is being echoed here. So it looks like, yes, this is a simulation, but not necessarily in like a video game type of way or a Matrix movie type of way. But in a spiritual sense, yes. And so it's so weird because like after the death card comes, that's when we get this card that's about like things being tangible and real. And so it's kind of like once you cross over, now you're in what's tangible and real. And so that does make it seem like what we're in right now is not necessarily tangible and real. So it is, but it isn't in the way that simulations are, but they're not. So does that make sense with this answer? Yes and no. It's like no in a video game sense, no in a Matrix movie sense, yes in a spiritual sense of plugging in, doing our experience, plugging back out, and going back to home base. So that it does seem to support that popular line of thought in a lot of, spiritual communities. We'll put it that way. So let's pull these up, go towards the other questions because we have other questions to see here. Yes, we do. All right, come on, remote. Mouse. I had to wiggle the mouse so that the screensaver would go away so that I could make sure we're still recording and see my little stats here as I'm recording. And I'm like, come on, remote, make the computer turn on. Well, maybe it will if you call it a mouse because it's a computer mouse. It's not a fucking remote. Lord help me. Next question here. Okay, so now we're getting into aliens, ETs. We're getting into that territory here. We're going to be looking at our reptilians, real, and our leaders are those, and then our aliens amongst us, and our government already knows about it, and the extent to which they do, I don't know. So we're going to look into that piece here. And again, I'll let you, just my interpretation. Okay, let me shuffle up one more time because I don't know how many times I just shuffled. Maybe not too many. So let's shuffle up again. Okay, so let's take a peek here. And start with the reptilian one. Are they real and, something about our leaders being those or something along those lines? Okay. Interesting indeed. I'll let you, just my interpretation. Context card on you. Okay, context card on you. Okay, how about there? Let's shoot for it. All right. Okay, so again, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just a messenger. You can think that all of this is a crock of shit, and that's absolutely fine to have that opinion. You can think whatever you want, but just so you know, our community here, in case you're new here, our community here, we can write things in the comments about all of our opinions, get to exercise that throat chakra, say what we think, and we can do it in a civil way. And we can do it in a way where we don't start going at each other rudely and saying rude things to each other, to the video, to me, anything like that. So please strike that balance, speak what's on your mind, and do it in a civil way, or your comment will get hidden or deleted by moderators who have the power to do so. Just so you know. Alrighty. So here, what we're looking at, it does look like they're real. So whatever reptilians are, I don't know if y'all are talking about, I mean, I'm assuming that is an alien thing from what I've gathered. I have not looked into this. I haven't looked them up. I haven't researched this, but from what I faintly gather, this is meant to be an alien thing. And I am seeing that they're real. There's no cards here that make me feel like this is, you know, a bunch of bullshit, that it's a lie or whatever. I see that it's real. What's interesting here is it looks like there are some decisions to be made, like they make certain decisions, and I do see them traveling here. This is why they have this. I do see them traveling all over the place, because these are cards that's like, you know, overseas travel and stuff whenever I see this. And so this is kind of like things happening all over the world. So I do see that as well. I'm getting a lot of Wands cards. Wands energy is very good for career, power, ambition, drive, you know, zest. It's a fire sign. All the Wands are fire sign cards. And so for this to be getting kind of fiery, it seems like reptilians are, you know, fiery, domineering, that quintessential like power type of vibe. And it does look like they make decisions on how and where they want to exert that all around our world. So I do see them as being real. I do see them as having some sort of access all around our world. And I do see them as being, for whatever reason or in whatever way, powerful and ambitious. So that is interesting. That being said, the bottom row here, when you see somebody kicked off of their horse, switcheroo, got the Empress card up right here. Again, a 10 of Pentacles in reverse. So you've got these two reversals here right next to sandwiching this Empress card up right. It does look like they influence leaders. Now, I don't know that I could look at this and say they are our leaders. Like I don't know what the theory is. So pardon me if I'm getting the theory wrong. But I don't see like, oh, here's a reptilian alien and now they look like our leaders, or they are shape-shifting into a person, or, you know, something along those lines and being a leader. I don't necessarily see that here. At least I can't say I confirm that here, but I do see an influence, because I do see the leading card here. These other powerful cards, you know, this is a card about success. This is a card about abundance being in reverse. But this person has this high seat of power, and they're coming up in here on the upright because of the switcheroo. So I do see that in some kind of a way, they are able to switch these people in power from points of weakness into an upright position, which would no longer be weak. That's a very strong position. So in some kind of a way, because of their ability to have power or ambition or maybe control or something, they are able to influence who has this kind of power. Now, I don't want to go off and say, oh, everybody in the world who has power has been influenced some kind of a way by one of these reptilian things. Like, I don't want to go off and say that necessarily, but it does look like there are individuals here that would exist that in some way have help from them. Do they know they have help from them? Fuck if I know. I don't. That doesn't say shit. What? All right, spirit guides. If you're gonna drop bombs like this, give us a little bit more context around what level this involvement is. How do people know? Are people aware? Like, what are we looking at with this? Because what the hell? Oh, whoa, that was a twofer. Okay. Okay. I'll let you just my interpretation. I'm going to say it again. You know, judging by what I'm seeing here, again, two pretty powerful types of cards here. It's looking like they have, oh, how do I put this? I'm trying not to say things that come off sideways or get me taken off here or whatever, but we know that the Justice card is a legal card, and we know that the Four of Wands card is like family card, the house. This card has come up lately for things like royal families because of the castle or the House of Representatives. Here's a government card here. Both of those things that we mentioned here, royal families and House of Representatives and stuff like that, are usually associated with the Justice card. They kind of have something to do with government stuff, you know, those are things that are related to government. And so it does look like there are people on that level, again, people in seats of power that have been influenced some type of way. Here's our silver linings. So these are people who may have had cups fall before them, but they still have these standing. And so the silver lining comes out. It's kind of like, oh, you weren't going to be able to do much on your own, but with my help, you can. I can find that silver lining and we can elevate your positioning. This still doesn't tell me whether these people are aware that this is happening. This can be some sort of a background, spiritual, ethereal, whatever kind of influence that they have no awareness of. This doesn't necessarily mean they called upon these beings and said, hey, help me out, or, you know, take over my life or whatever. This is not some Ianla fix my life bullshit from what I can tell. So just looking here, yeah, I don't see them having awareness of this, because this is the knowledge card in reverse. So it doesn't look like knowledge. It just looks like, hey, things are going well for me when I am following these hunches and, you know, doing these things that I feel compelled to do. And so that, since that's going well for me, I'm going to keep following that lead. Don't know what's, you know, helping me do that, but hey, I'm not going to question it, kind of thing. And these are people who are hasty to get in there and get out and whatever. So people who feel like it's okay to cut corners if you need to, or it's okay to maybe be dishonest if you need to, or, you know, the types of people who are willing to sell out in an integrity type of sense for status, power, influence. Those are people who are easily matching the vibration of these other beings, and therefore, because they're matching vibrations, they are more vulnerable to those, you know, leanings, those reptilian beings, like speaking in their ear, so to say, influencing them some sort of a way. It's kind of like how people describe, you know how those ghost hunter shows, and people say like, yeah, if you go and you're one of those ghost hunters and, you know, you are coming there and you're, you know, in some sort of a low vibe, whether it's because you feel really scared or whether it's because you're mad and you're provoking, either of those things are kind of lower vibrations, and so you're more likely to be targeted by whatever is there haunting, and it might follow you home if you're not cleansing and clearing and all of that. And so this kind of feels the same. If these people are not of high vibration because they are like, I want to win by any means necessary types, then they are now at the level that makes them vulnerable to this kind of attachment type of thing here. And this influence here, if that makes sense. So, wow, this is very interesting. Did not know this is where this was going to go. Kind of stepped in that one. I mean, that's what these videos are about. I guess I'm challenging, you know, anything that I thought and believed and felt as well. By virtue of just trying to stay open-minded and neutral and just looking at what the cards have to say and take it for what it is. So that's what I'm doing here. Hopefully that's what you're doing there as a viewer, rather than getting pissed that whatever this says does or does not agree with your viewpoints. Because I can tell you, I would not have guessed that this is what I would be looking at here. So, okay. By the way, that question about the reptilians came from Bree, so thank you for submitting that question, Bree. Shout out to you. That was a big one. You shook my brain, Bree. There you go. I like the easier ones like Huang Vu, who did not break my brain. So, speaking of aliens, we have more questions to look into relative to aliens. So, speaking of aliens, we've got some more here. So, let's see. Aliens. Are there aliens amongst us, and does the government know? Well, first of all, that already answered our question about if there are aliens amongst us, because like I said, I'm pretty sure whatever those things are supposed to be like some sort of type of alien. So even if there are others beyond that, you know, at least at minimum, we already saw those things are around the world some kind of a way. So it seems like aliens are living amongst us. Let's just, you know, a couple of cards on, are there more types than just that living amongst us some type of way? And when I say living amongst us, I don't even really know what that means here. It could mean in the same way that our deceased loved ones are said to live amongst us, that they're still here, they're just on a different dimension, a different level, a different plane, but that they're still here with us. Did we not get the death card upright in this exact same spot earlier? Isn't that crazy? I find that crazy. I think that's weird. Y'all see me shuffle. I got nothing to hide. What the hell do I have at stake here that would make me want to lie about any of these things? Like, for fuck's sake, I'm a nobody out here on a little channel that, you know, this is my hobby channel and I work 2 other jobs, you know. There's no incentive here for me to be a fibber, as my niece says. You're a fibber. She's learned to call people fibbers, and she thinks that's badass. So there's that. Anywho, yeah. So, in terms of living amongst us, I mean, I don't see anything here that's like, no, that's not a thing. I don't see any reason why that wouldn't be a thing. We're getting the 9 of Cups upright, which is like a very positive card about it. We then get the 10 of Pentacles, which is that negative influence because it's in reverse, which is the same card that was one of the 2 cards talking about negative influence in the previous one. So this is representing what we were talking about earlier with the reptilians. Apparently there's an opposing type of entity or entities, could be more than one race of aliens, I guess you can call it, that are here that kind of, I guess, level it out perhaps, that we may not be able to perceive that, but that doesn't mean that they aren't here and that they haven't been here for a long time, because this is a long time card. This is a like way before us type of card. So like I would imagine before people, as in like before, you know, Homo erectus or whatever. That's like the literal name. I hope, because parts of that sound bad, that I don't get this video taken down, because like that's like literal species type name or whatever. That's like a scientific classification that should be allowed to be said. For fuck's sake. We're gonna find out. So we're talking about long time standing. And with the death card here, it's like, and they will be here after we're not, like long after we're not. And the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, it's kind of like, yeah, they don't really need us per se to exist here. It's just, you know, not that way. This is also kind of like because it's like they're not working directly with us. So it's kind of like again, what we were talking about a while ago, an influential thing. There's an influential thing. It's like, yeah, they're among us. There's an influence there. There's some sort of interaction of sorts there, but it doesn't look like hand in glove type of stuff, you know, not overall. So that lends itself to the question, the second part of this, about the governments, and if the governments are aware of this, and maybe even working with this some type of way. I don't know, by seeing that, but hey, we'll look. And by the way, this question comes from Kimberly Perman. So shout out to you, Kimberly Perman. Thank you for this question. So yeah, are governments aware of these aliens being among us? And would there be any kind of like working with them, collaborating with them, anything along those lines? Okay. So I would say yes to the awareness, because of this Fool card here. It's interesting that it is the Fool card. Fool card rarely stands for fools, like, oh, you're being so foolish. But with it being here, especially sandwiched between these two reversals, it kind of is, because it's like, yeah, this would be an awareness. The sun is shining on it. There is light brought onto this matter. This is an awareness. But with these two fucking hot mess dumpster fires, Perk Squad members, put your dumpster fires in the damn comments. Both of these are Pentacles cards, both in reverse. Pentacle cards are all about the tangible, the physical, earth stuff, you know, money, career, finance, all the things. And so for them to say, hey, the light is shining on this, you're aware of this, but we're not going to get into this physically, it's kind of like turning a blind eye. It's kind of like, yeah, I know that's over there, but, you know, that's not my problem, or that's, you know, I'm not going to get into that, or that there's some kind of a, like, keep it separate type of thing, or don't dive too deep into that type of thing. There's something here that's, you know, and even if it's like, hey, we don't want people to know that we know, there's that could be presented here as well. That plausible deniability and shit like that. So that's interesting. We're going to be ostriches with our head in the sand. You know, whatever. Seems like not the smart move to me, but hey, do governments make a lot of smart moves? Debatable. Bottom row, about whether or not they're working with them. This is interesting how they put this, because the Five of Swords in reverse, this is like, okay, gotta walk away, gotta leave it permanently, you know, goodbye, it's in the past. come hell or high water, got to get the fuck out of here. But then we've got this Four of Pentacles upright, which is all about the control, and Ten of Wands upright, all about carrying these loads, having to bear this burden. And so it seems like they're saying here that, like, this is not a collaborative set. None of these cards are collaborating cards. So to answer the question specifically about are they working together, in any kind of formal context, I see no. But there is this control card here. So somebody here, whether it's like the governments or whether it's coming from the aliens, has some kind of a control complex where they're like, I want to control for this. I have to walk away. I've got to set my bounds. I've got to control, and I'm going to keep pushing on, and I'll just have that burden on me, but I've got to control this. And so it feels like, how do you put this? Again, it's got that flavor of the ostriches with their heads in the sand, not really wanting to get into stuff, not trusting things, not wanting to dive into things, not wanting to look too deep into things. It's better to just push it off. It's better to just keep going and try to do things yourself. There's like, you got to have control about it. You're wanting to distance yourself here. So it looks like there's an awareness, but not an openness. Is what this all boils down to. An awareness, but not an openness. The thing is, we've already seen, they don't have to be willing to work with the ETs for the ETs to be influencing us / intervening with us some type of way. So you can try to grip at this control and keep moving on yourself and keep putting your head in the sand. You can try, but what the fuck is it gonna earn you? Where the fuck is that gonna take you? Nowhere. That's where. Nowhere. So good luck on that one, government. Okay, interesting. Okay, I want to squeeze this last one in about the moon landing. And the reason why I want to squeeze this one in is because literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people mentioned this in their question. So here are the other people. We had like one little sponsor of each question. One person to be like, hey, this is what I want you to read on. The other ones, there were 5 people that literally listed this as a question. So we're going to get shuffled up really well. And then we're going to ask if the moon landing in the United States was real or not. Because apparently that is a theory, a conspiracy theory. So we're going to look into that. As I'm shuffling up here, I just want to remind everybody that it is December, which means it is my 3-year anniversary of being here on YouTube doing this. So it is our channelversary, and every channelversary, we have a channelversary sale on the channel. So there is a 15% off all services sale right now with code channelversary, and then using code channelversary GC, standing for gift certificate, people can get 15% off of all gift certificates, which people can buy for loved ones, to give their friends, family, co-workers, etc., gift them readings or any other of my private services that I offer. Or some people just buy the gift certificates for themselves because they're like, fuck it, gift certificates stay good for a year, so I can just have it for myself and, use it next September if I want, So people get creative with that shit, and it cracks me up. But yeah, 15% off. I will put all of the information in the pinned comment below, my website, BeasTalksAndTarot.com, and I'll put the codes in the pinned comment below so that everyone can get 15% off of all of my services. So tarot readings, Reiki Energy Healing if you need help with blockages or get a tune-up, life coaching if you're like, I'm stressed and this sucks and I need help, I feel stuck, and tarot tutoring for anybody who wants to learn to read the cards like I read the cards. So there you go. Channelversary, 15%. Moon landing, though.